Hey guys, this is Jeremy Net here out at Permanent Acres, and just giving an update on where we're at. I've coated down the heat riser some more, but you can see where I haven't gotten it fully coated down towards the bottom. I do not have a whole lot more sodium silicate for mixing up. I used up a really good portion of it. I have some for like a small mix, and now from starting on this, I am on I've had this like heaping with my dry mix. If I remember right, 4 times already. 4 times had this heaping full of my dry mix. So my dry mix is talc, magnesium silicate, graphite, and a sandblasting agent that contains aluminum oxide, zirconia, and multiple carbides. So I do like a 33.5 to 33% mix. So I do about a third of magnesium silicate, a third of graphite, and then a third of sandblasting agent that I got over there. So then I mix them up real good in here to where it's like that kind of gray color, and then mix them together in my little mixing container here. I've been using this pretty much for almost every time I've made lining cement, so I kind of cracked out all the old stuff out of there because it's getting pretty thick and hard in there, so it's like kind of had to crack out every bit of material, and that took a pretty good amount of hammering on this thing to finally break everything loose. So I had it nice and pretty decently cleaned out whenever I first started, but now you see it's already getting pretty coated up already. So I'll clean it up once I'm done mixing everything up. So I should have one more coat in here to get the walls completely coated, and hopefully get that top part coated right up there. I've gotten the fire brick that's right here coated, but I haven't gotten it on the inside of the top before the heat riser. And then I'll probably do a video where I coat the rest of the top on this. I had a little bit extra. See, this is already drying out. So I coated this pretty thin, and it's got it where the sodium silicate is exposed to a lot more carbon dioxide. So CO2 actually helps cure the sodium silicate in the mix. So that and this actually causes it to evaporate a lot faster too, the fire brick, just based on the amount of silicates in it. Like it's got perlite in it, it's got sodium bentonite in it, it's got alumina in it, and all those things dry things out rapidly. So it's starting to actually get pretty decently stiff right here, and then when you start looking at it, it kind of reminds you of like a grinding disc or something like that. But essentially, this is very kind of similar to what they use to make grinding discs and cut-off wheels and stuff like that. They'll use, I think, was it fiberglass or something like that, some kind of fiber, in mixing with this stuff to get it to hold the shape, and then once it's hardened up, then they use it for a cutting abrasive. So this stuff gets really, really rigid. Well, right now this kind of looks like got that dark, almost like a real dark gray look to it. It's not quite to a black color, but whenever it fully cures out, it should be about like that, maybe even lighter. But let's see, some of the silicate's actually pretty wet still. Try to brush it off of the side of this container onto the, let's see, try not to get you guys too far off on here, so trying to get some of this, what little bit of silicate is on there, and then this is essentially what I'm doing on the inside of the heat riser anyway, kind of brushing it on. Although in the heat riser you can't really control the thickness as much as you can on this. This one I'm going not really thick, just because it'll cure out a lot faster, and then I can come and coat it again. So and I'll do a video on where I end up coating this and mixing up the Lonix a bit, but it's not extremely entertaining, so I figured one video where I start coating this is enough. I figure you guys get tired of it pretty fast, but it won't be long. I'll have that coated and this fully coated, and then the rest of the way we'll just be waiting for it to cure out. And once I get to that point, I just gotta make sure I get my toolbox down here, start unbolting the wood stove, slide it out. The real entertaining part is gonna be trying to get this wood burning furnace up the stairs and out. So that'll be the exciting part, because I'll basically have to almost take the majority of this furnace apart before I can really take it out, because this thing it's a tank. Basically, it's like trying to move a tank. So I'll probably have to take off all the bolts and hardware and just kind of disassemble it as much as I can before I move it. But it's done a good job. It's quite old. I don't know what year it is, but it's an old Sears and Roebuck. Been operating for a long time. I just want something that's a lot more efficient. So it won't be long. Should be, hopefully, maybe this weekend I'll be working on trying to move this out, and I'll put the two barrels for the strat chamber in there, try to line them up, figure out where I'm going to cut out the rest of the holes for the piping and everything, because I got the top pipe on them, and then I just got to do cutouts for the bottom pipe. The bottom pipe is basically where the hot air goes in the top, the cooler air comes from the bottom. So you have the hot air coming from the rocket mass heater. It'll go into this chamber, it'll disperse, go down, run to that bottom pipe, feed into the next stratification chamber, cool off as it goes down, and then once it hits the end, the air will be a whole lot cooler and then flow as an exhaust out the chimney. And I've already explained most of it before, it's like I'm planning on having it set up where this slides right in place and the two chambers will be back encased in cob, and there'll just be a pipe where this slides in place and just fits right up. And if I feel like I should add another stratification chamber to it, then I can just slide this out, cut out another 55-gallon drum like those, and then slide it right in place, encase it the rest of the way with cob, and then slide this up to the connection with that pipe, and I'll probably encase the spacing between these two in cob, just to make sure I got as much of a heat holding mass around it. And then I already explained how I was planning on doing the cold air draw, having it where you have a hole down at the bottom to draw in the cool air, and then the air flows up through the mass itself and is heated by the mass, and then the heated air goes through the ducting into the house. So hopefully I've thought through it and tried planning it, and I'm hoping that everything works out fantastically. But if fantastically is an actual word, just hoping that it works out fantastic and I don't have any issues. But if I have any issues, then I just have to modify it accordingly and just kind of go from there. So I better shut up, because I'll end up spending a whole lot of time talking and getting nothing done. So I'm gonna see you guys later. Later.